Welcome to the first module of Introduction to Tendering and Procurement for Housing in NAN Communities. We will review how to use this site as well as some basic concepts we'll be going over throughout the duration of the course. This course was developed as part of the project Community-Led Designs for Specialized Housing in the North, which received funding from the Housing Supply Challenge Getting Started round. However, the views expressed are the personal views of the author, and CMHC accepts no responsibility for them. This course is being offered in partnership with the Faculty of Community Services at Toronto Metropolitan University, as well as Wausau Distance Education Centre. We will now introduce the course instructors that you will be seeing throughout the duration of this course. The NAN Housing Strategy partnership was formed between Nishnawbe Aski Nation and Together Design Lab, who have worked together on housing and infrastructure-related projects over the past 7 years. The team has a full housing system experience, including design, build projects, governance and administration, community planning, and strategy. The team also has a diverse skill set, including architecture, engineering, lived experience of youth, waste management, planning, fire prevention, and emergency management. The team also has experience implementing multi-year partnership-based projects with Northern First Nations and the challenges of working in a remote fly-in setting. There's multiple ongoing partnerships with communities, tribal councils, and funders. Here are some photos from past engagements hosted within NAN Communities. The NAN Housing Strategy was developed in partnership with NAN Communities across the territory. Some recent projects that the team have worked on include Community-Led Designs for Specialized Housing in the North, or ColdShine for short, which launched in 2021 under the NAN Housing Strategy with the goal of developing shovel-ready housing plans for those in greatest need. Through an extensive co-design process with community members from across NAN territory with lived experience and architects with technical experience, 7 housing designs have been developed. This course has been designed to support ongoing work through ColdShine and the NAN Housing Strategy to advance capacity development and training in NAN communities. Let's go over what you can expect from this course. This course will introduce you to the principles of tendering and procurement and the foundational knowledge required to lead tendering processes for construction projects in NAN communities. We have gone over existing materials from 10+ sources to create this introduction class. In addition, we have used the lived experience of the teaching team and our learnings from working together in NAN territory over the last 7 years to make the material relevant to the situations you may face in your community. Taking this course will help you build your skill set by learning the basics of tendering and procurement, including key principles and approaches that you can apply to your own work and projects. Not only will you build your skill set, but you will also earn a certificate after completing this course. You will be eligible to receive a Certificate of Achievement in Introduction to Tendering and Procurement for Housing in NAN Communities. This course is designed as a starting point for housing professionals and anyone else who is interested in learning more about tendering and procurement. You may have some awareness of general construction terminology or familiarity with housing construction projects, but this is not a requirement to take this course. This course might be worthwhile if you are a housing professional working within the NAN territory, you are not a housing professional but are interested in housing construction, you are new to your role or simply want to learn more about best practices or common challenges to avoid. Or maybe you have been in your role for many years but want to learn how you can improve tendering and procurement for projects in your community. This course is only an introduction, so you shouldn't expect to become an expert in tendering and procurement after completing it. The goal is to introduce some basic tendering and procurement concepts and terminology and suggest additional resources for further guidance to help you better understand your own process or the process used in your community. Lessons learned from this course can help you successfully coordinate or support tendering and procurement processes within your community. By the end of the course, you should be able to identify the key steps of a successful tendering and procurement process, explain the importance of formalized tendering and procurement processes to community leadership, and understand how to coordinate a tendering and procurement process and be confident navigating through this process by identifying roles and responsibilities, the process stages, and asking clarifying questions. We will now take a few minutes to review the course structure. This is a virtual and self-directed course made up of 30 video modules. You can complete this course at your own pace at whatever time works best for you. To be eligible for a Certificate of Achievement, you are expected to complete all video modules and quizzes offered through the WIC site. All video content is also publicly available on NAN's YouTube page in case there are topics you'd like to reference at a later date or share with your project team. The first module is an introduction to the material and structure of this course. This course is organized into 6 content sections that align with the typical stages of a construction project, including introduction to the course, selecting a procurement strategy, preparing the tender package and going to market, opening bids, evaluating bids and awarding contracts, contract management and closeout, and the conclusion. Let's review how to use the WIC site. The progress bar shows how much of the course you have completed in the top left. Each module video can be accessed through the table of contents on the left side of the screen. The number of steps in each section tells you how many module videos are in that section. Videos will appear within each module. Slide decks, activity worksheets, and transcripts of each module are available below each video and can be downloaded. Closed captioning can be enabled by clicking CC in the bottom right corner of the video. At the end of each section, you will be expected to complete a multiple choice quiz which summarizes your learnings from the section. Complete all quiz questions before moving to the next section. You must complete all the quizzes to receive your Certificate of Achievement. Now that we've reviewed the course structure, let's get into some tendering and procurement basics. Tendering is part of the process to secure or procure contractors and supplies to complete construction work or other projects. Depending on the strategy, tender documents or tender packages will be prepared that describe the type of work being requested and invites qualified organizations or contractors to respond or bid to provide goods and services. The tender, a bid or offer submitted by contractors, is evaluated through a defined process. Eventually, the project contract is awarded to a vendor who best meets the defined criteria. Procurement is defined as the process of obtaining goods and/or services, including construction-related services. Procurement happens in every construction project, whether formally or informally, intentionally or not. In construction, procurement starts by defining the need or project and selecting a procurement strategy. As individuals, many of us make purchases or enter contracts and agreements for things as simple as phones, internet, or streaming services without making full comparisons between options or reading the fine print. We are all procuring services all the time. Construction projects are bigger and more costly, which means the casual approach should not be taken. The ultimate goal of procurement is selecting the best possible person, business, or organization for that particular project. Once you have chosen the right vendor, it is important to set up the right contract to guide the relationship throughout the project. Strong procurement policies are important ways to protect from unnecessary risk. Here are the stages of the tendering and procurement process that we will be going over in detail throughout the duration of this course. Under planning procurement, you have the needs identification and project requirements. Moving into selecting your procurement strategy and creating the tender documents. In the next stage, we have bidding and contract awarding, where you will send the tender package to market, evaluate the vendor bids that you get on your tender package, and then moving into contract negotiations and awarding the contract. In the last stage, under contract management and closing, you will monitor and evaluate the performance, as well as payment and end of agreement. The objective of the tendering and procurement process is to serve community interest while getting the best value for the money spent. A good procurement process will ensure that the goods and services required for a project are accurate to specifications, of an appropriate quality, and are received in a timely manner. By reviewing a variety of vendor bids, tendering and procurement processes also help to ensure goods and services are obtained at a fair price and from reputable vendors. Tendering and procurement processes should also include details about approaches for reviewing and evaluating goods and services, making changes or amendments, and resolving issues. There are many tools that can be used to keep track of actions needed throughout the tendering and procurement process, including details about who is responsible for what. Examples and templates of tools will be provided throughout the duration of the course. Resources such as legal contract templates may also be available through tribal councils, First Nation National Building Officers Association, CMHC, Canadian Construction Documents Committee, and Indigenous Services Canada. Tendering and procurement is a process where legal contracts are a central element. Throughout the course, as we summarize key information, we will highlight where it is strongly recommended that you seek legal advice. Now that we have reached the end of the introduction module, what would you like to learn from this course? Pause here and take a moment to reflect on what it is you'd like to gain from this course. At the end of each module, we will highlight the references and resources used to create that module. If you would like to learn more or expand your understanding of a certain topic, please refer to the references and resources slide at the end of each module.